Okay, good morning. Welcome. So we start with some questions. What did you learn yesterday? What stood out for you yesterday? What new things you learned? Who can share something about what touched you yesterday? Or what could you identify with? Yes, like,
Me, I really identified with the symptoms of an orphan spirit because a lot of it I've seen in my own life, not because I'm an orphan, but because of some wounds and some trauma from my own relationship, and just knowing that those things aren't a result of my own shortcoming, and also that there is restoration from those things. It's a really hopeful message to me, and it really stuck out to me for that.
amen, amen, thank you. Somebody else who wants to share something as well? Okay, thank you for sharing. So now let's go look a little bit further what the result is, what happens, okay, when we live with an orphan spirit. You see, one of the problems is when we live with an orphan spirit, when our family, or when there is brokenness in our family of origin, the family we come from. And again, realize your family of origin is in the first place your biological family, but also your church family, your school family, all family structures around you. Okay, can be your barangay, your community where you grow up in, your town, but even your nation is a family, in a sense. And even entire nations can be traumatized. I mean, we all know there is war going on in Ukraine. Yes, you are aware of that? What do you think? If that war, if there would be a peace deal today, which is still not happening, but let's say today there is a peace deal signed, all the guns stop, the bombing stops. Is that war over? This war is going to continue for the next 2 till 3 generations at least. Not a war with guns between two nations, but a war of a traumatized and broken family. The nation is torn apart. Fathers are killed. Many fatherless families. That impact is going to continue through the generations. The real terror of war is far worse than the time they are shooting with guns. But there are many more ways how trauma comes to a nation. Poverty brings trauma. To the point that there are parents selling their own children into prostitution. Cebu here is the #1 city in the Philippines where that's happening. A few months ago it was in the news. number one location for online prostitution of minors, organized by the parents. So there are many things that lead to broken families, broken connections, addictions in a family, break the family. And now the issue is when the family, by the way, in the first place, is God's plan. Not broken family, but family. That's why we will come to show God's plan afterwards, okay? But when there is a broken family, that means we do not connect in a healthy way with one another. We connect with the wrong motivation. And I was already sharing about that yesterday. You know, when you do not connect out of intimacy, out of love, out of care for one another, but when you connect out of your need and your shortcomings. So trauma bonds means I connect to someone out of my need or my shortcoming. That means my primary motivation in making friendship is because I want something from you. I'm ready to pay a price back to do something back. In other words, we are in business, not in friendship. But we call it friendship. So I can give you something, you give me something. That's trauma bond. Trauma means there's a shortcoming. There is a problem, and you need to solve it for me. What should be, if you really think by yourself about friendship, and you think about the best friendship you can think of, what is your primary motivation for that friendship? Because you love and appreciate that person so much because of his character that you love and long to bless that person and share with that person your heart. Is that your motivation? Or is your motivation because he can give me something? Now, most of our friendships are often a mixture of it. It's only with a completely narcissistic person. Have you heard the word narcissism? Yeah. A completely narcissistic person has no alternative motivation just to get something from you. And the moment he can no longer get anything from you, you are dumped like a bag of garbage by the side of the road. But most of us, in our relationships, we have a mixture. So it's not purely one or the other. We are mixed somehow. There is a level of genuine connection, but there is also a level of trauma connection. So often it's mixed. Okay? So even in a relatively healthy friendship, there might still be some level of trauma bond in there. But the moment the trauma bond becomes the major part, that's when we really seriously get problem. Why? Let me ask you a question. How many of you have a friend that you can say that friend really knows everything about me? Every ugly thing in my life, every painful and shameful thing, every struggle I have, that friend, I've told that friend, he knows it. And he is helping me, he's a really good friend. Now please realize, I'm not talking about your partner in crime. Okay? Let's say, if you are a thief, your fellow thief will know you are a thief, isn't it? But you will not tell anyone else. So you can say, my friend, I have one friend that knows that's my fellow partner in crime. That's not a friend, he's a business partner. when I talk, for example, you are watching pornography, I'm not talking about the person you're watching the pornography together with. That's your partner in crime, that's not your friend. I'm asking you which friend knows everything about you. How many of you have a friend like that? Let's see, 3 hands, 4 hands. Is that easy? To share everything with someone? Be completely honest and open? It's not easy, isn't it? You know why? Every time there is something wrong you do, something shameful you do, and you know, I cannot get over this issue alone, I need help. I need to tell my friends. The question will go through your mind. What will they think about me? Yes? What if they know this, what will they think about me? May I ask you, when you think, what will they think about me? What does that tell you about who is in the center of your life? If you think, what will they think about me when they know who's in the center of your life?
Yourself.
Yourself, yes. Who's supposed to be in the center of your life? You already see the core of the problem? That's what our issue is. But the orphan spirit has to be in the center, otherwise he gets out of control. And then there is a lot of fear and anxiety. So and then of course you think, if they know this about me, he will or she will no longer give me what I need from them. Yes? So when that kind of friend asks you a question about something, you will give the answer that you think is pleasing to that person, instead of telling the truth. Okay? And the problem is, because you are hiding the true nature of your motivation for the friendship, that is shame. Because you're hiding something. And because you're hiding your true motivation, you start hiding a lot of things. Just to please the other person. And so that means you build up a lot of shame in your life. Things you are hiding, things you feel you cannot tell. Because of its possible consequences. You remember the story where they told you about the DTS student that the Lord told me to tell my past to him? That was that issue. I had shame. And behind my shame was my own pride. Now the issue is, when you live in shame and you are hiding from other people your true self, that means that in the end you have no real friendship. You have no real honest connection with anyone. Maybe with the one person you share one part. You know, as I told you, I had one group of friends that I did not tell I was a Christian. There was another group of friends that I didn't tell them about my sexual struggles. So you are hiding things all the time. And what are you telling yourself by doing that? You're telling yourself, I am not worthy to be loved. I'm failing and falling short of being loved for who I am. I cannot truly connect with others because of what I do. And ultimately, you even think what you do is who you are. And then you reject yourself completely. It's not that others have rejected you. You have rejected yourself. You have rejected yourself from being a child of the Lord Most High. And now the problem is that your circumstances in that kind of life, when you reject yourself, you start acting in a way that now will make others to truly reject you. Because you think you are pleasing them. But you know, when you blow up a balloon, that is like the image you make for yourself. The image of your lies and deceptions is like a balloon. And what does it take to pop a balloon? Does it need a big rock to pop a balloon? Only a needle. Do you really think people don't find out about the truth about you when you are hiding things? Let me tell you, they found out. They know. But you see, when you have friends who are friends with you for the same reason, they will not confront you. They will not tell you they know, because they want something from you too. So they know, but keep their mouth shut because they want to continue to get from you. You understand? The business shall not be broken. As long as you can give and they can give, the friendship continues. But you inside in your heart are lonely, are miserable, desperate for real connection, but you don't know where to find it because your basic trust is broken. But don't worry, we have found a solution. The solution is called fantasy. And let me tell you, today, fantasy is becoming much more powerful. You see, when I grew up, I did not have social media with Facebook to help my fantasy. There were no internet sites feeding fantasy. I had to create all fantasy by myself. And in your fantasy, you create a world where everything is perfect. Your friends are perfect. They are exactly the way you want it. Yes? Why do you think children love to watch all these Marvel movies and DC movies with all the superheroes? Why do you think? Or even in the mangas now, youth love to watch. Why? Because the superheroes, they help you to improve your fantasy. Now you can just copy-paste yourself in your favorite superhero or your favorite K-pop singer. Copy-paste that person in your fantasy. Yes, you've done that. And in the fantasy, everything is excellent and beautiful and perfect. And so you withdraw yourself from reality into your fantasy. Now this is going to become the biggest business in the world. We have spoken a lot about issues of porn addiction already. But let me tell you, porn addiction is, if you don't break with it, it's going to go to another level very soon. Well, I could say very soon, but the very soon has already started. Because now porn will become AI operated. Your porn addiction will study you. The AI will study you and know exactly how to please you, to stimulate you even more. entice you even more far away from reality, into a world of total fantasy where you cannot get out anymore. Because reality becomes too painful. But you see, the issue is, no matter how good the fake is, we always want to bring it into reality, isn't it? No matter how good even AI might be, you still will want to practice it in reality. So in order to bring things in reality, you need to take some steps. Maybe you are very shy to talk. And now your friends invite you and say, come on, hey, we are drinking some nice Red Horse. Maybe those who are not Filipinos, Red Horse is the brand here of beer that people love to drink. No, we're having some beer, we're having some liquor. Come on, hey, drink, take a sip with us. If you feel shy and you don't know easily how to make friends, and some guys are sitting by the side of the road sharing a bottle, drinking, and they invite you. It's tempting to join. Look, they are all talking smooth together. And the moment you say, okay, let me try one time. How much do you need to drink the first time to be intoxicated? Very little bit. And suddenly you realize before you couldn't talk, and now suddenly you can talk. You feel you are talking so smooth. You have a great time. You see, because you are intoxicated, you don't even realize what you are talking. So most things you are talking is just rubbish. But you think you are talking very smooth because you are intoxicated. Also, friends ask you to join. They are smoking marijuana. And you see, when they smoke marijuana, the guy that is so shy, now he can talk. And he's offering you, come on, smoke as well, let's talk together. Or for the guys, a girl comes to you and say, you're so guapo. Those who are not from the Philippines, you already know what guapo means? You're so handsome. Come with me. Be my friend. Or maybe you have told the same thing to a girl. You're so beautiful. Come on, let's hang out together. But you understand, can you go to your parents' house? Guys, can you take a girlfriend to your parents' house and take her to your bedroom? Yes or no? No. So we need to find another place. I was surprised the first time I came into the Philippines. I see these advertisement signs. Room for rent, hotel. 1 hourly rate or 2 hourly rate. And I was like, who is going to a hotel for 1 hour or 2 hours? I mean, I can understand that as an airport hotel, and your layover is maybe 5 hours after a long flight, and you're very tired, so you want to rent a hotel room for 3 hours to just relax a little bit before you go to your next flight. But why here in the city? Till someone explained it to me. I said, okay, now I understand. That's meant for immorality. You understand? So you need to go, but you see, they are not for free. You still need to pay. So you need now to get some money. So you first seduce someone, you make an appointment, and then you have to gather some money. So you tell your parents that you have a school project, and for the school project you need 500 peso. When you see the school project is only 200 peso, but the 300 peso is the money for the room. So you now get the money, so you have cheated a lie, and now you get the money. Then you still need to get an excuse to be gone for some few hours. And when you go out, your parents will ask you, where are you going, isn't it? Say, I'm really struggling with my mathematics, but you know, I have this classmate has always above 90% in mathematics, and he has promised me to help me with my mathematics. So you pick up your mathematics books, now your parents are very happy you are going to get help with your mathematics. Yes? Now when you go around the corner of the house, you dump your mathematics books between the bushes, because you cannot go meet your girl with mathematics books, isn't it? Now you go on your way. These are your rituals. But the same thing you can do when you want to go drinking, hanging out with some friends, drinking. You know, you don't do that around the corner because reports will go to your parents, so you want to do it to the other side of town, isn't it? And no one knows you. So all your friends, you agree, you're going together to the other barangay where there is a fiesta. All those preparations to do what you have decided to do, what you have decided to bring your fantasy into reality, all those things are called your rituals. Now the issue with the rituals is that when you do those things, it's a secretive behavior, a deceptive behavior. And when you do that, you put yourself in being put in danger of being found out, isn't it? So when you put yourself in danger, your adrenal gland is going to produce extra adrenaline because you are in danger. And adrenaline is also, just like dopamine, like a natural heroin or a natural cocaine. It's very addictive. Now, why does our body produce adrenaline? Who knows why? Why can your body produce adrenaline?
So we can make quick decisions.
Yes. If right now, behind that curtain, through that window, behind that curtain, a cobra snake starts slithering into this room, how many seconds you think it takes for everybody to be out of that door? How many seconds you think it takes?
8 seconds.
I think in less than 3 seconds, everybody is out there. I experienced it once when I was in Nigeria, and they have these taxi vans that are absolutely not roadworthy. Even the tires are not standing straight, so for 800 kilometers, the thing is just shaking over the road. And the road is bumpy, so you're really shaking around every direction. And the biggest fear of every customer, every passenger in any of those taxi vans is that that van will catch fire by a shortcut. Because it often happens that people burn down to death in those vans. Now I have one advantage, since I'm a little bit tall, they most times will allow me to sit in the front. Because you see, they have taken out the original seats and put other benches in, they're very close together. So you're really cramped together. You know, a normal Toyota, not those modern commuters, okay? The older ones that are much smaller. You know how much, what they call those? 18-seater. But let me tell you, you guys know, I went from Nigeria, isn't it? You know how many people fit in Toyota Avanza? How many youths can fit in Toyota Avanza? They were part of them. 14. Toyota Avanza is 14-seater. But they called it 18-seater for 800 kilometers, long distance. And so I was sitting in the front, driver next to me, and at a certain point we slowed down a little bit. And I see the driver matching the gas pedal, and it's not moving. And then we hear a scream, a loud scream in the back. And then I turn my head around. Now, this is no more than 3 seconds have passed. I turn my head around, but I just heard a loud scream. Nobody there. It's an 18-seater, 16 people behind us. They raptured in 2 seconds. They were all outside. The door of the van was only half open and all the windows were open. They had jumped out through the windows and the door within split seconds. You see, the driver and me, we didn't see what was going on. But there was some smoke. Then we saw some smoke coming from behind one of the panels. Now you see, I'm not Nigerian. I'm not that quickly afraid of some smoke. Because you know, there is a wire that is burning, or at least melting. It happened to be the wire to the fuel tank. So the fuel pump wasn't working anymore. That's why the van slowed down. It took just a few seconds for 16 people to jump through the window and half open door out of a van. Honestly, if you tell the story the next day, nobody will believe you. And they said, don't worry, we will show you how we did it. And you take more than a minute to all get out of that van. Without adrenaline, you cannot jump like that. It is a tremendous boost of smart, fast thinking and acting. Your strength becomes far bigger. I know the story, the testimony of a man. He saw a car accident happening. And the person was under the car. And the car was resting on the person's chest and the person couldn't breathe. So he picked the car at the bumper. This was still in the olden days when they had real bumpers on a car. Those metal chrome bumpers. He lifted up that car and held it, lifted up to relieve the pressure of the chest, but the person couldn't stand up because his leg was broken. So the person was laying there. And he was holding up that car for all the time till the police had come to help to pull the person away from the car. So he's holding that car up for probably 5 to 10 minutes at least. Nobody believed him. So he said, I'll show you that I did it. And he couldn't lift the car. But the adrenaline made him to lift it for that time. And the life of the person who was under the car was the proof he did it. So that's adrenaline. It's given for emergency, but we abuse it in our rituals. Already we raise our adrenaline level. And then of course in the end, we act out. We escape from our reality into our faith reality of the fantasy, and then we bring our fantasy to our rituals into reality. And of course, when you are acting out, the moment you are intoxicated with alcohol or drugs, common beloved drug in the Philippines is shabu. Many youths are addicted to it. Many. Or it doesn't matter if you take an external drug or you act out in immorality and you get a big dopamine release in your brain. Or when you smoke marijuana, marijuana is a downer. It relaxes you. You're acting out, you get a high. That's how you call it. When you're intoxicated with when the dopamine or whatever drug it is floods through your brain. How long does that last? Few hours maybe. 2-3 hours highest. In some cycles of addiction, it only lasts for 10 minutes, 15 minutes and it's gone. So if you are managing to let it last for 2 to 3 hours, you let it last for a long time, but it surely won't go beyond that. Now what's happening after that? Oh, the girl you took to the hotel breaks up with you because tomorrow she wants another guy. Or the guy you went to the hotel with, you see him with another girl tomorrow. Despair. Or you know those mathematics books that you put around the corner of the house between the bushes? You come home to pick them up and it turns out it has been raining and now they are all soaked and wet, spoiled. How are you going to explain to your parents? Yeah, I was so much crying of joy that I understood it, that my whole books have been soaked wet of my tears. I don't think your parents will buy that one. Understand? Or you have been getting drunk. Do you think they won't smell your breath? Not only that, the next morning when you have been drunk, what do you experience the next morning? Hangover with a bad headache. And you still had that mathematics exam the next day. And now you fail because you can't think straight. You understand? There are always consequences. And the problem with the consequences is they are worse than the moment of joy that you had, or actually the moment of pleasure. It wasn't joy, it was pleasure. The moment of that release of the dopamine can never meet up with your despair. So for sure you will never do it again, isn't it? This is the end of the story? You only did it once?
No.
Why did you do it again? You see, the problem is you jump back to your fantasy. Because in your fantasies everything is perfect. You see, here you had a lot of shame and pain already that caused that fantasy. And now you have more shame and pain. So you run even faster to your fantasy. And for the first moment you say, I will never do that again. But then as you are back in your fantasy, you realize that, oh, I just made that mistake. If I do that better and I'm smarter with that one, actually there is a way I can bring it into reality. And you're going to improve your rituals just to act out again. Just to get despair again. Just to run back to your fantasy again. This is addiction. This is how we get, this is how an addiction works. It's a cycle that continually goes on and on and on. The one step automatically leads to the next, to the next, to the next, back to the first one. Without a door out. Do you understand the problem of addiction? But also, do you understand where does it come from? You want to stop this, you have to change here. You have to change in your relationships. Become honest and truthful. Stop calling partners in crime your friends. They are not. Break your relationship with them. You know, it's only later when I shared with you when I became honest to all my friends. That my one group of friends, my partners in crime, left was a blessing. I didn't see it as a blessing at that moment. But later on, when I got to understand this, I said, wow, thank you, Lord. You really blessed me by removing them. Because if they had doubled down on tempting me, I guess they might have won. At least, if I looked to my strength and my flesh, they would have won. It would have taken the Lord to continue leading me in victory. But you see, the Lord graciously told them all now, shut up out of his life. Get away from him. So please get rid of your fake friends. So you create space to start healthy friendships. Okay? To invest in your real friendships. Now, what is the consequence of the addictive behavior? Shift some slides around. The You see, in the US there is a medical doctor called Dr. Amen. And I would really advise you look him up online. Dr. Amen is a psychiatrist who for 30 years is making brain scans of all his patients. Because he says, I'm not going to treat a patient just by some symptoms that I see. He said, 30 years ago, this was very revolutionary. Psychiatrists and psychologists, they would just give medication based on symptoms. But when you go to any other medical doctor and you say, I'm really having so much stomach pain, does the doctor just start treating you? Or does he want to have a sample of your stool to see what is going on in your digestive system? Or will he make a scan or an x-ray? Yes? Every doctor wants proper evidence to determine what is going on. They will not treat you just by symptom. But psychiatrists used to treat people by symptom, without looking for the evidence what's going on. And Dr. Amos said, that's malpractice. I'm going to make scans. And he discovered a lot of things and brought a lot of breakthrough in psychology. Now, this is one of the most simple scans that he used to make. This is called a SPEC scan. So you have to take a certain liquid that goes to your body to, when they make the scan, that is like a contrast fluid. It brings a coloring. When there is action in an area, it will show up as a color. So for the top, when he makes the scan of the top of a person's brain, he uses a yellow color, and for the down part, he uses a purplish color, so they never get mixed up. So this is not the real color of your brain, okay? This is just the contrast fluid. And the contrast fluid shows color when there is activity. So this scan tells you if there is activity in your brain, yes or no. And this is a healthy person. What do you see? There is all over the brain activity, isn't it? That's a healthy person, a healthy brain. This is the top scan of an alcohol addict. This is the top scan of a heroin addict. What do you see? You thought your addiction had no problem, no consequence? Now realize your brain is all about connection. All kind of signals come in. Signals from your eyes, signals from your nose, signals from your smell, your mouth, your tongue, signals from your fingers and everything that touches your body. All your senses bring in loads and loads of signals all the time. And your brain analyzes those signals in split seconds. They all come in different places, then are referred to another place where they are combined, refer to analyzing center, refer to action center, refer to messages to your muscles. Let's say if this is a hot stove and I don't realize, so I start leaning against it, I will pull up my hand immediately, and only some seconds later I realize, oh, that's hot, but I've already pulled up. Unaware what is why, but already my brain has given a signal, pull up immediately. Then another part of your brain says, oh, the pain is too much, don't tell him immediately how much the pain is. Just let him know gradually. Otherwise he will panic and he needs to have a moment to analyze and see and take the action without panic. You know, your brain is very sophisticated to regulate you. But if you think of the amount of connection in your brain, the amount of brain connections are in the billions. So think of the road network of Cebu City and Talisay, all the way Manila, Constellation, and the whole network of Manila combined together. That amount of roads and junctions is in your brain. And all day messages are flying through your brain from connection to connection, processing to other connections. And now this is like as if you are throwing a whole load of bombs on the city. If you're a taxi driver here in the city and you know all the roads, all the ways, you know the names, you're a very good taxi driver, you know every location, you know exactly how to get everywhere. And now a war breaks out and 100 bombs are thrown on the city. And you need to get to the other side. Will you get to the other side as fast as you normally get? No, because the road you always take is blocked, is no more existing. So you have to start finding a new way around it. So what is happening when people are addicted? They become slow in response. Why? Well, the brain is working over hours to make new neural pathways around the area that is no longer working. And maybe a place, one of those junctions was a memory center, a data center. Memory is gone. You understand? Lots of severe consequences. And you may say, oh, thank God I didn't fall for the alcohol one. Thank God I never looked at heroin. You know, I only have my phone with my phone. What do you see? Internet pornography has the same consequence. Because you're still over flooding your brain with the dopamine. And it doesn't matter if it is the fake dopamine or the real dopamine. You're over flooding your brain with it. And so it causes the same damage. It's not without consequence. Okay? Because that is not why the Lord created relationship and family and friendship. Why did the Lord create family? What is the intention of family? You see, family is all supposed to be about intimacy. You live together, you grow up together, you grow up with your parents, and your parents are to model trustworthiness to you. Your parents are to help you to learn to trust so that you can share. Do we have a marker, whiteboard marker? You see, you all know the word intimacy. Thank you. You see, the problem is, you see that this is the official spelling of intimacy, but they got it wrong. I don't know why in English they got it wrong. You see, this is the correct spelling of intimacy. Into me, you see. Into me, you see. True intimacy means that you allow someone to see into your life. You're not hiding. That is the intention of family. Family is to be the safe place to share. Never to be put to shame. Do you see how damning it can be when parents shout at their children? Because if your parents shout at you, do you trust them again? When parents mock children or compare them to others, all those things bring shame and make a child to close up, no longer allow even the parents to look into them. I'm very proud of my son because he tells me everything. He doesn't hide things from me because he trusts me. and I'm making sure that I am behaving trustworthy to him. Never putting him to shame. Never putting him down. I love him far too much to even do that. And the same counts for the ones, my good friends. I will never put anyone to shame. It's not supposed to be done in the family. Now, if it is safe for people to look into your life, that means you are not alone. You don't need to solve problems alone. So you bless one another. When you help someone, when you encourage someone, that's a blessing. Family is designed and created by the Lord to be a place of blessing. And we will get much, much deeper into that tomorrow. So don't miss out on tomorrow. It's going to be amazing. But you see, the issue is, when you were in shame, you run to fantasy because of your circumstances, isn't it? When your family is blessing you, does that mean your circumstances change? Yes or no? No, your circumstances remain the same. You still have that same teacher in school that doesn't know how to explain mathematics properly. You still fail and struggle your exams. Let me tell you the reason that how many of you love mathematics? Only very, very few. You know why you don't love mathematics? Because most mathematics teachers don't know how to explain it. If you get mathematics explained in the right way, most people will start loving it. So don't blame yourself. But your circumstances stay the same. The same trouble. If there is poverty around, you still meet that same poverty. But you see, now you meet those problems not alone. You meet them with a blessing family. There are people behind you and you are not alone. And instead of running and hiding away from the problems around you, you face your problems. You say, do you see this problem? He said, I think I have a solution. Because you see, the Lord, when you get blessed, you start understanding who you are. And you realize that you have certain skills. And you have certain gifts and abilities. And as you discover those, you say, I can contribute something to society around me to solve some problems. That's called vision. And you step up and you step out because you know you don't need to do it alone. You have people who will give you backing. So you get a vision and you start sharing that vision. Did you share ever your fantasies to others? No one? No, you don't want others to know. But your vision you share. You see, from trauma bonds, and an unhealthy family leads to secrecy. But a healthy family leads to you sharing. You share your plans. And you share them because you want to get feedback. You want to know what others think about it. Because you know, I do not have all wisdom by myself, but if I get input from others, they can help me to improve my vision so it will succeed. So out of that, you get healthy decisions. You now decide to start doing things. Now here in the unhealthy situation, you also started doing things. You remember those rituals? You got into action secretly, very destructively. Now you get into action, but in a healthy way. And out of that comes forth a healthy behavior. You put to action your vision through your healthy decisions. Now this can be different things for different people. For Renz, that he decided to do DTS, which is starting in 2 weeks for him. So you have already started. You are his example. So he's here today to just get a teaser to know what he is going to receive in the coming from 2 weeks onwards. He say, well, house of prayer. Okay? And he has been sharing with people he's going to do DTS. He's not hiding it because he knows he took a good decision. It's a healthy behavior. So it gives him joy. He's already excited about it. Now when you have a healthy behavior, that behavior gives you joy. Always. Now it doesn't even matter if the plan, your vision you have and you put it to action. Because you got input, there is a good chance you'll succeed. But you know, even if you got a good idea and people gave you input, it does not always succeed. Reality is that sometimes you fail. You know, some of the big business people with big, successful, multi-billion businesses, do you know that most of them failed several times before they got a successful business? Several of them went bankrupt several times before they were successful. Did that hold them back? No, because they didn't do it alone. And even if it doesn't fully succeed, or maybe majorly doesn't even succeed the first time, there is still joy. You know why? Because you have people around you that say, hey, don't worry. It's still a good idea, we just have to improve it. So you go back to your vision. And when it was successful, and you have the bigger joy, you say, hey, if this one worked, we can even do it on a bigger scale. You know, over 50 years, I think it's now 55, 56 years ago, Lauren Cunningham got a vision. Actually, the Lord gave him literally a vision. You have read the book, Is This Really You, God? What was the vision he got? Waves of young people flooding all over the world, bringing the gospel everywhere. And you know, by that time, young people do not go into mission. You have to have at least 20 gray hairs before you are considered old and mature enough that you can go into mission. They believe youth can never do anything good in mission. It's only elderly, wise people who go into mission. The Lord said it's not true. Send the young ones, they have strength. They have much more capacity. Train them. And so Lawrence started sending young people, and he was declared man. Even his own denomination kicked him out. He was not allowed to do it, otherwise he had to leave. And when he was put to that choice, he said, then I leave, because I know what the Lord told me. He had a vision of young people going all over the world, sharing the gospel. He saw that vision come to pass and happen in his own lifetime. As right now, YWAM has over 30,000 people. Majorly young people. Going all over the world sharing the gospel. Wave after wave after wave. It started with a vision. Why did he act on the vision? Because his parents blessed him. His parents encouraged him. They strengthened him. it's very important that you have a blessing family. Okay? But the reality is, many of us struggle with a lot of shame. So let's look, before we have break, how much are you struggling with shame in your life? Okay? I'm going to give you 2 sets of questions, altogether 30 questions. Okay? Some of the questions will be just a clear yes or no, true or false. Okay? Some questions maybe sometimes are true, sometimes are false for you. If it is 50% or more of the time true, you feel true. If it is less, you put false. Okay? So all you need to do is on a piece of paper, you put on the top a T and an F. And you mark the amount of times you get true or false. Okay? Can everybody read it clearly? Okay, so for each question just mark if it is a true or a false for you. Okay?